There we are.
Hey,
Yeah.
welcome to our baking event.
Welcome, everyone. Tonight we're making the peanut butter cookies that are on the meal plan this week.
Actually, Dorothy's making them.
Yeah, she just likes to watch.
I'm doing nothing. I'm gonna eat them.
Yeah, that's his contribution.
I'm gonna turn the comments on here in case you guys have questions, and then I'm gonna check our. All right, that's rolling. All right, so yeah, I'm not doing anything, but I'm hanging out here with you guys. Dorothy's gonna be baking these delicious
Very yummy.
cookies. They're so good and they're super easy. So thanks for being here, you guys. I'm gonna hang out on the side so you can see everything going on here. But I'm gonna be checking questions and I'll be here as well in case you need anything.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite recipes because there's few ingredients. There's 5 ingredients, and all you do is mix them all together, and away you go. It's as easy as that. You should have the recipe in the downloaded in your Complete Truth Protein recipe book that was sent out. If you do not have the recipe book, where could you access it to?
CompleteTruthProtein.com.
Okay, you can access the recipe book there.
Yeah, you can access it on. You can access. You can access it on any of the sites. You guys should have it within the private group. For whatever reason, you get this with a bonus video. You can access it on exploringmindandbody.com as well. Yeah, so it's all over. You should be able. It's a free download. Most of you guys watching this have it, so
Yeah. So let's get going. So first up is 1 cup of peanut butter and natural peanut butter, of course. We don't want that Kraft peanut butter because who knows what they put in that. Why not say that?
we're gonna have to delete that out. When there's
Whoopsies!
thousands of people watching this. Kraft isn't gonna like that. You so Kraft. That's a good point. You know, it's a, you know, there's some companies that let's not name names.
Whoops.
Some of them, if you read the ingredients, they'll have like a lower quality. Will have up to 8 ingredients, which is quite shocking. So if you have good clean peanut butter, it would have
just peanuts. That's peanut butter, just peanuts. That's all you want.
Sometimes you can get sea salt.
Yeah, sometimes they have sea salt,
but you don't need. If you have more than a few ingredients in your peanut butter, just think about different peanut butter.
Yeah. One thing I learned was some people's, I guess, why they don't like to switch to the organic or the natural peanut butter. It's because that oil separation, but that is supposed to happen. They put stuff in the other peanut butter so it doesn't separate. It's supposed to separate. So you don't want
absolutely
other things in there.
Yeah, it's not really that big a deal. Your peanut butter should taste like peanuts. And if you get that oil separation, it doesn't take much to mix it.
No.
Or you could turn it upside down. You could put it on its side and roll it for a day or two. Like, it's not really a big deal. I think we're just so used to it being, you crack the lid and you get your
spread on. Yeah. So I already measured my 1 cup in my bowl here. Then maple syrup, we didn't have maple syrup in the house, so I'm using agave. You could also use honey as well. So just because you don't have maple syrup at home doesn't mean you can't use this recipe. And then the applesauce, our applesauce is homemade, thanks to Brenda, our friend Brenda. But you can buy the unsweetened organic kind if you don't have homemade. I'm going to go ahead and throw in my 1/4 cup of applesauce in here already. I'm going to do all the wet ingredients first. So there goes my 1/4 cup of applesauce. And the applesauce replaces your oil in your butter in your recipe. And then, of course, the agave is going to replace our sugar, so there won't be any sugar. So we want a 1/4 cup of that. And I just noticed I'm using 1/3 cup to measure, not a 1/4 cup. Whoops!
It's going to be a little sweeter.
Well, I didn't fill it up. So, but that's a good point. These are, healthy, natural cookies. They're not going to be if you're used to, the conventional ones with sugar, not going to taste as sweet. So if you are just trying them out for the first time and you do want them a bit sweeter, you could just add a little bit more honey or agave or whatever you're using to make them a little bit sweeter. And then we don't have vanilla, so I'm just not going to put it in there. I think sometimes we get caught up, well, if I don't have that ingredient, I can't make the recipe. But if I don't have something, I either try and find something else to replace it, or I just don't put it in and see how it goes. And vanilla is just one of those extras for taste. So I'm just going to mix up those 3 ingredients, the wet ingredients, applesauce, peanut butter, and agave.
You should have your oven preheated.
Oh, yes, sorry. 350. So make sure that's preheated. Now, we are using Complete Truth protein for our flour. If you don't have Complete Truth protein, there's a variety of different options you can use for gluten-free flour. I have an all-purpose flour that you can buy already made by Bob's Red Mill. And this is bean flour, so it's garbanzo beans, fava beans, and I think there's some potato flour in there as well. So it's a bean mixture. I like to use it more for something like a pizza crust or something like that, as opposed to cookies. I've tried it in muffins. It's okay in muffins. But I like to stick to the Complete Truth protein for all of my cookies and muffins and things like that, because it just rises so nicely and has that moist texture to it. If you're feeling extra adventurous, you can also try and make your own flour. So you can throw some quinoa. If you have a high-speed blender that will grind grains, you can throw some quinoa in there and make your own quinoa flour. I like almond flour as well, so sometimes I'll just throw in my almonds, my whole almonds, into my blender and let that go, let that grind up into a flour. So if you're feeling like getting a little adventurous, you can make your own flour as well. But my top recommended choice is always, my go-to is the Complete Truth protein. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in a cup of that. At home, we have ours in a glass jar. This recipe too, because of the consistency of the peanut butter, sometimes it's more liquidy than other times it's more solid. You kind of have to play around with it a little bit too. You can be nice. I kind of blocked it there. Kind of have to play around with it a little bit. If it feels too liquidy, you could add a little bit more flour. And when I bake, get things everywhere on the counter.
Everywhere.
Yeah, that's just how I do it. You didn't make a big mess, you're doing it wrong. That's how I roll. So yeah, just play around with the peanut butter, because sometimes it will feel like it'll feel too liquidy. So just add a little bit more flour. Other times, maybe it doesn't feel liquidy enough. Is liquidy a word, Drew?
I don't think so.
It's my word.
Liquidy. So this is another recipe that you guys can do. Doesn't have to be the exact ingredients. What's nice about many of the different recipes that we put in this recipe book is that you can substitute. You can put different things in there. So are you putting chocolate chips in this one?
Oh, yes, I am.
Dorothy would put chocolate chips everywhere, in everything she could. So she just told me before she started that she wants to try it with chocolate chips now. I don't think she's actually done that before.
No, I haven't.
So, I mean, I think baking should be fun. And I know it's not something that you think of as being fun, but I think once you start to experiment and try different things, and it's like a little creation, like a little artwork. So try to have some fun with it, add some things together. Not everything's going to turn out, but I guarantee you that you'll find some things that work for you, that just by experimenting and having some fun, that you never thought would work. So
yeah, and I bet you now that I add chocolate chips, it's gonna be a new favorite.
It's tough to beat chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah. We talked last time in our last baking video about adding cacao nibs instead of chocolate chips, which you could do here too. It would give your cookies a little bit of a crunch.
Yeah, just remember that anytime you substitute something natural, it's not going to be the exact same.
Mm.
So you have to give your palate a chance to adjust your taste buds and understand that you're doing a good thing for your body by making healthier decisions, healthy choices, but it's not going to taste the same. So what these are a clean peanut,
Chocolate chip.
chocolate chip. What are the ingredients in there?
It is cacao and brown sugar. So there is some sugar in there, but just the two ingredients.
Yeah, so most chocolate chips aren't, I wouldn't recommend adding them, but what brand is that?
This is the Enjoy Life brand, and they have a couple different varieties. This is the dark chocolate variety, and then they have mini chocolate chips and chocolate chunks as well. So that now you can purchase them at the grocery store, where a year or so ago even you had to go to the health food store to get them. So it's nice to see more and more healthy choices coming into the grocery stores too.
Yeah, and I'd like to note that you don't have to put chocolate chips in this one. There's so much flavor from just the different combinations. I mean, peanut butter. Who doesn't like peanut butter? You know what? Those that may be allergic to peanut butter, you could try something like almond butter.
Yeah.
Or different butters, cashew butter.
I don't know. I think you could experiment with it. You could use any butter.
Yeah, we usually use almond butter. That just seems to react better in most, I suppose, the majority of our body. Some people are allergic. Some people have trouble digesting peanut butter in particular. So what I was saying is that this is a nice progression. So if you're not used to a healthy type of baking, then you could add your chocolate chips and you wouldn't even know the difference. And it actually, I just had some of my clients tell me how amazing these were, and they had a hard time believing that you could make healthy baking. So that's why we made the recipe book, to let you know that you can make baking that's healthy and tastes good.
Mm-hmm. So that's it. It's all mixed up, and then you just can take your tablespoon and measure them out into a pan. You want to put some parchment paper down or coconut oil or something so they don't stick to your pan. And these cookies stay the size they are. They don't get larger or rise much. So
It depend on the flour, no? Would that depend on the flour?
I'm not sure. I know with Complete Truth, they might get a little bigger, but conventional cookies, they increase in size quite a bit when you bake them. But just saying that because a lot of times we will put with conventional baking recipe, we'll put a tablespoon down on the pan and then you'll get a nice sized cookie. Well, if we put a tablespoon of these ones down on the pan, you're gonna get that's the smaller cookie. So I like to just be aware of what size cookie you want.
Show them the size. You want me to show them?
Sure.
So this is the size of the cookie. So Dorothy's going to show you the next step here in a second, but that's the size of what she's using. And of course, they're different sizes. They don't all have to be the same size, but that's just a simple way to do it. She's using the tablespoon? She's using a tablespoon to roughly measure. So they're not exactly the same size. It's not a big deal.
And another thing I just thought of while I'm making these is because they're clean ingredients, you can have them for a snack like anytime throughout the day. Sometimes I'll throw a couple cookies in for my morning snack with a piece of fruit or something because it's clean, right? And you're getting those nutrients in the morning, like the Complete Truth protein nutrients and the healthy fats and things like that. So
yeah, these are going to be in your meal plan. So at the time we're making this video, you may be watching it another time, but at the time that we're making it, then following week, they're actually going to be in your meal plan. So that's something that's kind of a learning curve, I would say, is that you can make baking healthy that tastes good, guilt-free. So most of the time I'll ask someone, maybe they just purchased Complete Truth protein, or maybe I've been working with them for a little bit. And I say, well, how did the baking go? And they say, well, I can't I can't make that because I eat it, all of it.
Mhm.
And I suppose it'd be different if you eat all of it at once. Might get a little sick with the whole bowl of that deliciousness, but it's okay. And we've made these recipes in a way that they are going to make you feel better. They're going to nutritionize your body and add nutrients instead of the opposite with a bunch of refined sugar that's going to take nutrients from your body.
Mhm. Yeah. So I'll just stop there for a minute, so I can show you. You're just gonna grab a fork and like a traditional peanut butter cookie, you're just gonna flatten them out, and then they're ready to be popped in the oven.
I'll just bring this a little closer.
Sure.
So this is what it looks like here. Dorothy's just flattening them.
And like I said, they'll stay roughly this size once they're baked. And it takes only 10 to 12 minutes for them to bake. So, and you should get, oh gosh, probably a couple dozen. Yeah, 24 cookies, depending on the size, right, that you make them. If you want bigger ones, you'll have less cookies, right? Smaller ones, you'll make more cookies.
Yeah, for the meal plan, if you're doing this I'll put this up so you can see me.
Mhm.
If you're making this for the meal plan, we want them, not too big, not big giant cookies. Make them a good medium
Couple bite
size.
size, like,
Yeah, a few.
yeah.
2, 3, 4 bites.
Oh, what is a bite size?
Make them a medium-sized cookie, I suppose, in the meal plan.
Yeah.
So is that it?
That's it. That's quick and easy recipe.
Yeah. So that didn't take that long, and
No.
that takes a little bit longer with us explaining, and I think usually the prep takes longer, but this is simple. These are only going to take 15 minutes, aren't they?
10 to 12 minutes to bake, and yeah.
Yeah, they're good to go. So it doesn't have to take long to bake as well. It doesn't have to take
Yeah.
long in prep in the oven. So these are going to be delicious. I promise you that if you like peanut butter in any way, you're going to love these. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for coming along and joining us.
Thanks for being in our monthly membership as well.
Mhm.
Of course, these videos are exclusive to you. So, we love you guys coming in and being a part of the videos and the group as well. So that's why we do these. We do these for you. So hope you enjoyed them, and we'll look forward to the next one
Yeah.
and seeing you guys within the group.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.